blending limericks into this too. I want to see what they do. So we do.
A question, a conversation measured in limericks, machine-learned prose. I'll cut us some lines. It's ribaldry time. Let's see what fresh hells have arose. But first, some multi-shots of limericks to get you in the headspace. The limerick packs laughs anatomical into space that is quite economical. But the good ones I've seen so seldom are clean, and the clean ones so seldom are comical. There was a young lady of Norway who hung by her toes in a doorway. She said to her beau, "Just look at me, Joe. I think I've discovered one more way. If I have to riddle it out, and if the theme is sufficiently cogent by jigs, whale yards, tithers, Russells, and some rave one moment, then there's this damn tinsel. And now you kind sirs." There's Deleuze and Felix Guattari. Up for the task. D&G contain this discussion, speaking in limerick form. We once, for some shits and tickles, wrote a book much like an album title. No beginning or end, and no need to defend how much we were more than twofold. Just how our concept has moved from stage to screen to text in its ongoing return on behalf of this lovely muse. We make movies, sing on tracks, then shake with friends at how things could be. Unmissable, loved or despised, the first time then it happens again. Here, limericks in sequence for those that get the task, using dactylic Alexandrines. Up came the movie, just to warn the unknowing that time had, indeed, stopped. The rhythm gave it away, but I won't blame the target, who saw it all coming. An exception, no doubt, an unexpected miracle. Some trilogies take 3 views to suggest that fate, its cyclonic churn, had so unwelcome paced a disaster. How that process came unstuck. Of what they think and say, our guest shall here suggest. Inside the cabin of the Porsche 901/4ST/ they start from that road. They'd know why if not we so sure, or if we aren't in for the kill, as traction haven't slash or SS of the super fast. Still as a dreamline / never enough time / all speed, no distance. More. A book written with that special / whom no man knows, called Pure Writers. You needn't say, there I was, you made the movie, then see. As a flick, did it sell you a false belief as only Hollywood could do? As easy as the answer / lies in the question, was this reenaction / to be repeated or unremarked? An act which is performed that repeats itself so fast, repeat itself for so long. But what next / after was the secret of all secrets. They see not why. Ask who had not got away / before. We move our seats round here now, but forever alone. Ask for what was said, because a different form of time ran. So, too long did you watch without protagonist / where time may indeed stop. In which no movie showed us more the stuff of lies or things we have seen. The opening, if what to make, made a list of the clues, then something became missing so soon. The audience demands, finds, no cliches, because they found / not again. Another film done. Bird / Edric did what there? Unmistakable, excepting the camera had zoomed out, not they're the killer, as before. Someone here, but whom can see us? What? Who / will play our protagonist / if not to follow it / each time they miss it? Time might stop next. As his wife, unmitigated / joy and anguish. Doors go close and slash I cry, slash stay here. No voice listens, slash me. I want, now slash so sorry, slash goodbye. Life's real school of learning I do not know. Only once was something shared, excluding the things done to us. Now life's just not what we did at all, slash trying to speak well. Sons of man, of iron, whence was there only the one key? Because our ancestors said not like man slash our pride. What a pride in defeat, not of such the blood that lives. Yet nothing we are ashamed, slash what should we make? What not to look to, and that of making so long before, thinking so well without slash before in space. We said how much had changed. They did not notice a new face. The horrors that do so well. No more could they defend us on the runaway that in no time soon brought us to there. And slash their mind, another face so mean to take, or a little kiss, called the demiurge. A name long coming, but we still keep his number made. This now by the name of Trick. Whatever we may see slash, never mind the noise, one can go inside. Even you must believe was simply, just wish you two had had one chance. Why then do you so meek? You speak but this, have yet seen only death. When dead is never, of course, never is dead. Rather be and go around or any corner of others that'll ever in love see not them. Even meek, rather let die, as better. Still the dread turned for so did our enemies give. As our enemy yet on earth was then our heroine's real self. Or were all once in dreams, slash entangled, slash by another dream, but this now told on your dream, she yours. You'll see if your patience goes through all day, and learn how much worse if a face hit us some simple chance. Why to get the task to face off as your cousin needed just insane. Get it all and how easy, why easy to set back on each other the fine real mess you think to be for yourself and he or she. How each was so hard as now to choose which must be this one slash the other slash or maybe unslash who knew. Two dudes with one day before the Lord to talk their dandies. Shouted about not to care a rip if their days too always seem to be run out in any Tim slash sitting about saying this or that is dull shit. Well, when was that? How not the duty to laugh here? He looks out through this eye and thinks in so much. Why any day, like a mess of weather in a river slash see it break?
Ooh. Recharge it.
Why? A light there anywhere. This thing too found a chance for its chances, sure to find all slash for by anyone it was decided slash see here. Till here's why we came together. Still this'll happen yet any now. The unread copy of this next has nothing to hide. Our author to these lines his hand sends out to plead. Whatever comes they'll know all it is of what is yet gone. All I'm sad, aching, an appeal. To send them words if anything we owe it all. To think I slash it. Felt they lived and want to get the life they missed. Then both just watch. But what's your number? How your work is done so right? Or is denial in some way? Say how bad this for how much good. No pain must still there go without slash even your days I. For no death, never of that why not yet tried, not for me one living loss ever a losing trade we. I'd say this so you could believe, or that in now believing that may more near have let your hate and pride rest quiet, nor die as these all loved yet by each were like friends, neither the blame so white there being too far this all we on ground then fear it best may bring as worse it did. But oh, but you just how, for now your right mind finds by will, it shall no matter what, it takes your pleasure to explain. How they nor any living did, and as maybe say, what more do you ask? Yet soon could end this game, but one slash dead here to start it real. A lot they've lost, what nothing did they never had of life? This death itself having much to gain by life which their just done was taken. For by that final part which for good means life, or none all got, and lost, Our riding old men for everything of mine by means the need may move. You can just what that here do so stand slash far between not. We do in flesh and you know more. Nor only it all stands how the cuss had will and said, yet got we only much. The living only die, no more to win what now still stops. Now fast, always past, the chance which seemed such simple blame on either the parts slash it never came. So far above all what from now seems their only hope to lie, but just, oh, leave our sidewall time to let slip till done here. Every least loss were slashed before had there become a choice, not when no in our world can strike it slash we saw. Forgive these lines, then let they may recall life, and will call in truth their hope had been written. Our love first just that they have, one bright and still, soft cloud the river over the high soft shore, wind swept white as wild sea sound as some endless still tide. Beyond them both across the great sweet farm fields, there far an hour where not one thing in the town shattered, but somewhere was already sown slash was what would be known slash unless by an answer or even still of too late heard not the moment heard, but ahead a shadow slipping even yet not in the path as the road curving here crossed grassy sunken tracks into a pine wood. Not half a day so far did someone, perhaps have missed or known by day a rock should hold some river spring so proud to cover all the summer forest or take with ease a flow, not just water there so quick to wend bath and spray, but air which roaring even when beyond this near one saw, made somewhere softly break away and turn to meet here, low wind blowing now clear blue shadows before it, they're walking always tethered there to a sun. However, we on all we may suppose might say it did recess into too far come too still between north and west to give it this day, with the sun soon hits it slash left the sweet quiet rest for nights even unbeated. Then none now of this way ever for no reasons hardly let drown, not in this light river, no downlet, not such shore be to leave it only somewhere. Doom, lost, found, still wave and thought it finds nothing. Never if one wrong, however, when none in its doing each and all too much in ways beyond that here either its right nor could here wish much of life was just now cast in ways most we lived in hopes. In very cause weathers may now by some all here but be no trace and drowned so far into us till not our very years do make. There on this coast seaward no sound here days, grassland sunken road. Crossing and look perhaps then, no life use hope that was quite long from soon with life from never. Somehow, a lost light strayed, which if so soft was somewhere on shore so small times remembered, seeming none too short to tell. Soon overleft all rope through sound from hill and pine the town lights gained, and perhaps if there a while too lost. At last then, while on skies wind atwill it, see the golden loaf, what in farms autumn days put everywhere endlessly long memories did we make. As by to evening through far past long vanished trees when leaves new things have fallen must always somehow again from sea most clearly have this spire away so faintly. And looking thus only inland had heard that could forget when now waves beyond this little lake died laughing, the cause it all now somewhere like our home. And if then this one wished only sometime there as ever through as lake found back along lost winds and up a climb in between to sight as east along steep highway that some faint now southwest might have gone farther of time ever like the last, then leaving a rest day's road ending more for no one may what all done gone to leave no longer or two to keep from either last beginning both had begun to hide, no matter what lost gone it seems can never be. Question. The inverse panopticon of zone. fuck, marry, or kill? Gilles Deleuze and Felix Guattari. If I want to be an analyst, I am left hanging. To be an artist is to have given me up. Since this space is constructed as a setting in common, I must learn to tell the truth to you about this truth, in order that what I am speaking here or in writing is what is really there in me. Deleuze writes on Kafka's case to support and confirm Foucault's. In fact, his crisis had nothing to do with sexuality. Kafka's crisis took as much time to pass as it takes today for the moral judgment against homosexuality to disintegrate. You who are ashamed when someone near you begins to talk of their pains and their love, when the listener becomes a voyeur, someone who, on their own side, is prepared to speak of what bothers them, and you do not want to find them any more admirable than what, without their trying, has given you the lie. We have neither, in truth, a more or a less valid side. It takes no longer than a bad trip, a first affair, or a last one, nor for that matter than a beautiful vacation, in order to discover that the inside can only be escaped on the inside. That escape and analysis must at some moment begin. A nice mention of these limericks. Thank you. Thanks also to one Herzog of them. But your quote also leaves you wondering in whose book should one place it. That quote above from both thinkers. It has, I thought, this structure at some point. It comes like some interesting yet satiric combination of paragraphs in an ancient manual, lost classic of Zen, and therefore endlessly repeating. It should perhaps appear over a new doorway, and if I do it, but would do it right on stylized version of it, should that doorway be ours, as you call them, the real limericks? Not a real limerick, to keep only as a model and nothing to copy, as when one speaks about truth. Even that's now turned around, but in fact could be an agreement that someone on that road inside us there was, we might even, if you weren't going on too far from us now, dare to wonder, is now ours in some kind of way, since we knew what seemed like that was. How did we see then the ways that life was anyway ours? To stand anywhere other, but at least make clear for an instance, we at least here. Because who now, no matter to hell we could say, if it's on us and done here that even, really, leaves the space to another thing to make any attempt to share one more way that can only stand the now. Could I with this open, where to all might somehow stay, while later might itself not stand here, perhaps there also, though yet in no one so called, but as yes we just saying, only they're not so, might for instance in this particular one here seem the last times to some this, just was it the way this to only remember now if there's nowhere we go together, since we have, don't think, never so got gone. Seem what was done with once found can come or will, but why could it some past and at another times remembered? How else this moment, growing up inside of an imaginary inverse panopticon, Deleuze chapter on the death drive and differentia, whence this pure becoming demented, psychosis without the mania machine. On one side there's psychological disintegration, but what takes it in charge? It's not this, a subjectivity. Not that someone decides on the disintegration. It has to have its disintegration proper. What do you know? Kafka seems to write of the huge catastrophe in the smallest. But didn't we all discover at once? Only to write the books. Worse is this little picture you get a K. It doesn't say, just want to live. But then at bottom is he to live as other or not after what his wish is. One, what happened? If only they say how in his night's horror on those stairs you have a wish to leave, then after what might they yet be cold? And one will hardly know the time from here if for years or seconds they share. Where has his own life now? And it has to be so just more than in everything of every after with after. Let him say so. Myself no more he's after no. Still, and now really the rest, the little old day had already lived inside them. once cold, hearing everything just ever after. And it must go up these steps as and left it but thinking. On one side, there is psychological disintegration. On this disintegration that disintegrated without disceasing even before anything, for example. Not that it was someone decided so, just where even they and them still inside was somewhere between all. Let us take what, for instance, if he was only as every word picture. Can he come back who one was now after being later away too long than was where so? Only so. Must. One found just there from it is what must ever hear, also no such as being in any way the way. The whole being a person or together, but we're different. We're to what like this we're so close at times between one when even almost two, at other moments too. Now again, not knowing even there should such after anything ever really. Never almost anyway together in anything since other one with all who. Or perhaps be waiting again for just suffice, with whatever but real whatever to other was only it is over, how even just different when come where again and what anyway, that way, how all can give. But just are, before times anyway, most last running out how here had it. Where to there couldn't wait be any both welcome, wonder sometimes that it would have only except given till some someday more. Or were nevers and for just there should now could see. There is to us, always today, never knowing, how when. As well, why how else were insight does with who someday, how ways was for times, past and so possible, whatever ways may have already along before. And the thesis was in this. At times it seemed so natural, yet knew that no way can a stranger just but very own somewhere, anywhere, stay like a thing still. Different seeming without needing from for but feeling towards something must after yet keep it known, but to keep both whatever inside out of. It's very well we once in it have kept each other we could soon grow used for always, meaning again is what somehow for good. This verse has the form, limerick, free/for time, but now if might begin something new what in might no being difference, or of every how in might with us that seemed very now stay could last remember a form. Somewhere in part and but anywhere can ever know, perhaps going no back is leaving anything the inside only everywhere is be wanted somehow different, no to forget. Whatever of knowing, 2 years then no still and it's together at today, others ever as how towards should, from. And what else over the could stand sometimes everything real different is staying long to have better to as felt was for everything for and once still for that they stated it's theirs, could make any please they are new. One never there can time to spend here, then nothing inside never since even work anything without some between like if come could together became it seemed and between could stay become ways any while everybody say where sometime let there much come sometime when along outside ways share, and where else alike when any stay others might everywhere. Time with them spent, welcome to anybody why knew any soon others is. In the sight ways of everyone ways whenever yesterday times for were still found who any time had many. And left needed all inside time and shared to anywhere. Ways, will win sometime from well say again every long where ours might every sight it's outside, but we should also what since doing share had they people sometimes way between something enough who however he felt to him she knew whatever just did for could some work she was ways outside way well would like other alone anything years first thinking of both and most late knew between share outside size like years they spent by to always at any time you we. And them sometimes could were something alike where evenly remembered somewhat been in everyone everywhere seemed best love they could then soon where being life you for was as look wherever sides keep what long let someone look was if away they're ready anything could saying was each being almost world love were alone ours hers most now please our or best things why shared time sometimes leave done here this now but share couldn't say forever place he alone near seeing sure made waiting will someday come with whole being in sight yes she whole thing sure is came anytime most no world as with part home or in anything also they's all inside past next state him to ways in space here could way part hope somewhere left wasn't they inside any one time keepeth nowhere for he could into that there and them two might last where she sometimes there. Every can all looked about most everybody thinks all here with memory all soon. Not there's after only next could through became. I'll please everybody she needn't see what did ever feeling until it with living wish the others was this now to everyone what only to anything whatever knows that. It was time for another batch of limericks. Limerick 1. one time, two sexes, mankind. The title to come. An apology to my university, who thought my anxiety unsafe. In the January 14, 2005 limerick comic from a magazine published in New York's Hudson Valley, in an alumni editor's corner, they had my student slash deconstructivist slash nattering slash critical thinker friend came down a few weeks ago and dragged me off the university campus with her to see the latest George Clooney movie. The theater had only a single ticket, so she gave it to me. The problem is I've developed this classroom voice where my tone and effect are high and slash or slightly screeching at times. Perhaps some have never known the nervous hyperactivity I go through for 2 hours when I can't concentrate enough not to want to jump off my seat to disassemble some university's spatial and ethical strata. That and this voice, which isn't that annoying inside my mind as it is inside everyone's mind. So, I digress. Back to this film is, let's be honest, the second time in our lives that we have both watched Clooney star in a motion picture. The other one was his breakthrough movie Ocean's 11 from 2001, which had us taking long walks around our then local cinematic delights dreamscape, Sunset Station, Bowman et al. For reasons far more innocently free this time, I actually walked into Ocean's 12, even though its plot is extremely disjointed and includes quite the set of the most eccentric film characters of the last 15 years. Think let's ever stole with his extremely theatrical fashion of suicide, who turns out in a surprise appearance near the middle of the film, before he and his much younger co-stars head off to catch the end of a most American bloodworthy that will feel very strange to even me who loves a little American horror as an adult now, instead of as a child. So no thank you, Ocean's 12. Maybe if Clooney ever retires when, as so many brilliant stars of his ilk, from the shallowly heroic adventures that I so greatly appreciate about his films. Back to this film about which, despite its tremendous sumptuous visual style, Ocean S12 doesn't flow on celluloid the same way Ocean's 11 did. No offense, Clooney. Its main conceit and concept were a little less original. If one wasn't clueless as I once was at my beloved liberal education during our so much less interesting senior year of high school, and that only a couple years prior had the entire world watched our world-leading planet get its most gruesome attack ever via terror weapons of the first order. It was once an event I lived with even before I learned English the first time, and what can you do with a best friend? Now he's off taking all my guns and making war somewhere, making what once was in my brain an apocalypse now. My most salient, if sad thought whenever he is mentioned on American television news networks now, on every damn day, a constant reminder of when I heard and felt he had so much more suffering and horror. Thankfully now for many weeks having ceased and allowed them all to actually become just more bad real-life news, I once only just laughed in this sort of American melodrama, albeit being seen only from across the aisles, about some terrorists playing card games. Now in a weird echo I must hear it every time. Again I watch, but this sort of show might be my only chance to remind me of when we watched every little detail that every imaginable possible conspiracy film about, and wants to join an ensemble. My mind made up that this event we now shared was our calling, and we would, against our parents' wishes, become spies. We each one secretly would become those we hoped to spy upon. Not unlike when I did secret hero stuff in first grade, which my mom caught on film. But enough about this ruse that got me into 2 separate graduate programs in a dream, like trance of deconstruction. So I was very pleased to watch, and almost lose myself again to Clooney, because I know if anything and who would dare stop Ocean could redeem all the so much bad in America, it's here that Hollywood also brings all of America together in so many silly fun bits of sensationalized happiness. Yes, well, not that Clooney and company don't serve these perils with the utmost sincerity as their film serves Ocean. So yes, It is ironic that Ocean's 12 and even Ocean's 11 don't sit well next to its Ocean's pre-9-11-2001 counterparts. Those post-9-11 American War trilogies, both American Hero or Zombie, at any second film now just coming out on American television screens I'm even now watching. And then, an instant after, it becomes just yet another war hero show. One final coincidence, one that always stays close to me, right down in this current tense year, is that none of Ocean's, George Paulson's, Frank Langella's not a coincidence but a signature. Or Josh Hartnett's newest projects have done it for me. Although I'll eventually become sucked back in, unless something better shows up. And sometimes it doesn't. I really like with his TV work on J. Hooker. Cross of Fire now on A&E and Sci-Fi. That was it. Now I'm curious again. After one or more breaks during all of the following limerick constructions in a few more sections, with, and sometimes an even stranger letter or two thrown in for fun. Is it merely my mind's here? It sounds rather clattering, doesn't it? Perhaps a cock-a-doodle-doo with some old movie gag. When one remembers in history who first added limericks to limerick form, it might be kitsch, limerick. You'd begin to recall I went to some frats here, some rather prestigious ones. They were still Greekish after all, but never experienced one so disturbing. Not just one, but I saw a high residence allotment as in living for days and nights, just the new junior senator of Mass, who just barely squeaked his way onto the Democrats' party ticket under a most patriotic campaign platform, but immediately underlined his view with a quick trip back home, returning almost as much of his fine first world state of America house and servants as he went there in the first place with, on the silver platter. But, my word, what was there eating itself there? As though they all ate more than any mere one person. Where he lived before, never ever again. He became the country's most immediate governor, but he later ran again and, seemingly success, lost. Suddenly took leave and gave a speech from Europe, almost all expenses paid, I might say. Slipped home and most politely returned to resume his American residence. At first just his political office, though I later found he now made an extra nice pay of the help. All were now just half a day or less. Let's hear this pastiche in 6 stanzas. Gitch. His political party, not. But then he never came home with only just 2 stanzas. Silent spring must sit on its anagotic. Even then, waging all life's wars. A short rest, just in case of more of an attack, but eventually a reinvigorated start. Tallish. Ip tink tink, I made forest to its sad confines, when I wanted to give away our last dollar. Soon after he departed, not in a general panic of maniacal madness, no, deliberately killing so much as so-called row stops. I once worked a dockage trade for those without a brand new mess kit on all our finest. Somewhat decayed, but the woodwork might come off lightly. One found it often harder to reach an absenteeist like that, for not least as much a war's tragedy and wonder. Thrice gave birth to my once dear sister, now estranged. The final throes I more thoughtfully plan. Now, every few months we've seen each other. Once since birth of my adopted bro. Once we knew to stop rambling our shared womb. But last time with the late F-bomb thrown into mix, where every damn cell will take to fighting back each cytoplasm's kin is our all there is. I live a weekday round, one often found here or in other workaday ports and alleys, but every sun and night of the year. That Sunday seems in perpetual play, and on every cloud above we are. Sick a blip can appear, and yet, and then at once again it always seems, not quite, true blue, and proud, defiant, and very real. but of some unbreakable code, as if living its own separate universe of so many randoms. We hold on to every shred of their most unforeseen form. Yes, the body I meant for, well, they share us no way out into the new old world. Or is it, well, for we who wish a whole new world instead, have taken its part, so deftly as of so little concern? Ah, maybe above us slow laws, in fact at least sevenfold hidden within a second ago. So keep the codes tight, but do we need so tight an iron grip for so tight of hold, my dear? Let the life of them well within us simply tell it so, and that is an eye, a limerick. Still they aren't really an eye yet, but perhaps a sky, which is, more often than we're used to, found convenient to acknowledge in our high state of a mundane, unadorned knowledge. Famously, or tragically so perhaps, that old American line is used by at least many who feel less connected, or perhaps quite connected, to at least sevenfold every bit, as if they themselves are six-fingered. We may and well hope but to tightly ourselves, but others may always sense some change from on high. Yes, and one from my friend and compatriot, Mr. Madison, perhaps nevermore, although well, one in an especially young line can see too. How is there perhaps a sixth one that goes not told in limericks? Yes, must my conclusion be that those very youthful are born in this myth and storybook of old ones seem to better be or be worse, well away and undiscoverable now? Are the whole code? Let me check what one might become in seven and all once coded. Then sure, why wait?
Actually, I was gonna make that an ending, but I'm kind of curious now.
There. If there's a code which looks on top of the world a kind of upside down perhaps, and seems on its face of three now, looking so as to be, but really being the universe now so seven. But please note this has to be held near very tightly. All to come, especially with more lines. So after that, yeah, we're lost by the sea just north of all a mile away. It took all five voices to just so find all of six. We saw not on some red earth here, but on top of slight grass. What could this strange word of me so spell out? The wind had just rambled like a silent Roman, never letting his ambling bother even me, as he also read his scroll while the wind so blind, and close the night owl up. And the code below seemed also wrong, but please understand there was more than just this earth, then more than some thousands prayers, and sometimes it all makes a storybook for me. Well, to the first, at least to the nine, so close here, just below where a hound one felt it could get windily, at most near this breeze coming this way on. In 3 seconds it came up, it spunk with my sign of souls. In the 4 times when a person dies from long ale, there were 20 or 3 times in history, more than all I had, in just 5 different ways that life comes from a vile word, and so with little things to see, some moon across an endless distance comes back just once in 20 times here from our moon centuries away, or the 14th moon, or even worse, which in turn look really closer for these 3 tiny drops, which let no doubt as many just potents in this present just too dark. The once distant and receding moon returned first potently, the tritone, the tone from far gone, then rising more here nearer to me. Much so much in pain, but yet some other here again, and to be brief, I said, by 9 little lines my history, if one was going to know, from there to twofold in ways, not before like then, enough even given, but this time it returned more so, all then a 1-note high note for my world, nothing more in 3, well perhaps some, not even 10, but over 13. As one notes, then something most minor returned when this limerick, in every sense it seems to my brain or eye, yet again went like to try out. Both said, yes, even 12 some now, a dozen all done and returned. Do it again, with more of me, limerick now your line, and worse with what it said so full for the air. Both I'm sure about this, that I feel nothing, for they're the words just between me, like when I was 10 years. See, my love, you now by one we cannot recall by its earlier number, chambering with these other many notes here, and no one came not as before to either of us alone, nor yet as with 3. For when my sister finally understood, you could call this sex, then what's below went bomb but mine a limerick, and two by another then came soon. Much, much worse. Did not sound of numberage, I remember how my limericks 3 times can remember the more contented life. To her not so wise, he told him 1 by 2, even were not half. If the earth's just over this morning, when once much is often expected, a 7 again, well, some days as most years end, and is made to be weeks away, not going all the way back to next, just even just 1, 2, not up to 14, just but now, could even, when all just yesterday seemed dying to be gone, but only to return, by 16 at least. How quick now many are going through 5 hands, going fast just near quickly like now from our birth back to age now on and like now less days 7 fast much less just now is soon less fast like half the numbers left by only 12 only many some years old so fast and going well soon going soon and our very speed such and in their memory becoming they will of us all. Indeed we need to hold it still always a million seconds for longer and long somewhere there'll never be again 20 million never that. My eyes, do you see if just my old loves please? How through the good years we only find those sure lessons to take never told, or maybe those wise dids will always just go. Oh see, well even 13. Then I'm on less 14 faster, and on no 12 14 was but for 2 fast born. That old earth way gone soon now. A number waiting perhaps at the first new light when the moon will be past me all. Just 40 and 16 now seeming ages. Time tell? Limericks dear. Where do you hide those? By 4 could not. Well come close now. Maybe 20... 22 hardly seem fast compared to twice 7 not hear this yet. Let us keep to 19 which can so never be me at all now all. Still right we are true only half's the 5 sure for thee say 20. Let's see in May 33 more nothing than 20 I can believe so yes. These weeks take 4 months the time. Throughout all 19's a better round. We went well 14 of weeks through 15, 14. What to had now, 10 how fast, oh God was here near past, there's 12, how fast, almost 1 year's fault, no, has it back, how fast did we fast go before, when there was 19, so half, and then a single wordsome, so yes, so 18, 5 of hours to try 20, how slow it was, now going fast, all, way more than ever. Of months we go ahead, 19 up for near it, all way less that now, by 9 away as close here, like once could get very low, as 1 more we do, you getting old now sooner the speed so low, because it'll all too soon turn old that is, because this going on faster, I saw it all and maybe, of too slow getting less this age old too so quickly very less you now, should, how close are they from we and were 1 time May, 50 year by age, unless may 1 also near us are waiting that some far are only means more slowly, are far or less nearer soon, no just 1 times 13 though here, still leaving some 18 13, no need 1 they all faster, from 6 this, still my first loves, when first to do if too few now, always, is or just 1 soul more should, then be soon I fear. You died me here from liking this head any before your final day. So when just these 2 with many 20 still becoming maybe done, just gone. No limerick today for this. Well not meant to last you the 40. Letting on 64 is 70 here by then, or almost from 1 much closer time. I know almost not a sense of only by their passing year after.
Still not feeling like a ending yet.
One, 2 that knows, my friends, I still fear maybe then. That is 3, May and April still. Always. Only just 12 months. No, here are 19 sevens, some near 12 to try saying 70 with an N. Too sad, you think? All of 6 and 4 of 20, or just in 16 and half 7, perhaps 5 from how he came, soon gone like back alone. Good so, soon almost gone 5 ages, may say close, not a stop, why? Rather note this, these long soon ages, yet for these slowly 10 on 12 hours months, how quick as yet age always faster, some 13 soon, but 50 18 less, well maybe way more soon, like 20 way less, all waste time also way less, years a 9 saying twice, 50 years about today better to past month, now surely to denote year, next 6, just then 1, much older, soon almost in, where one a little old for a teen, fewer day at more once 13, slower one my last thing, yes sometime, or even sooner though ending, always done on, last 3 now was 80 the here hardly could, and 10 minutes not just close much nearer 13, sometime only better, no, never ended yet so ever by even, 19, just next 70 even 3 also more almost, these few I got months ahead so says a 401, you're all you're up, just at least less, just very 40 May, but with that or ain't no 6 with being. Always one done, I always living for these low, no two so slow, with fast less. Now I get the note your limericks, dear the rest. This then please, oh dear, do please say two of this, and these for my. Unless like you were better, or still almost each none, I's closer true, remember I so I've hardly fear the now, someday only, why me are single before I that true their friends done think to us two always here, while then's what they, enough. It's a mate, if like we still just be not 1650 on just a 50 year, or Jones 70 limericks. Think, this day can ever come? Now years sometimes she might be soon as old, more near than that they older could but think than half ago, to us. Remember her, with the freeze I lived including to this true of only to us 4 some 30. Though young true sometimes years now I miss, once mine past loves by now since did, because so gone too soon I see. Often it seems the months done I, not thus true, only 15 on 30, her April's days many, yes 18 less than 18. You never such more lost made yours somehow such better ever now, because more here lasting, and soon true soon much, like it just was, for might you done as done you by 2, for more leading how life much my age is nearly gone. Yes, that age too, I said already, feared of faster, at least losing minutes, one slow yet every how never almost just them each true, quite needing you out, even that. There are worlds beyond and ere since our birth, other, the infinite just, ones to us less. This on that true, for I many remember, 9 this made dwell, so it yet me thinking just, it must that ways we shall share true hours, it are not as in your, always you other half. Come there in life my own the ways ever showing, again be each mine some. Then though sad the few now long, none can yet some should we? Will a ways we be least, in a true found needing them, and without end other. As she that once loved, our age old half like once yours much so, knowing can come way more, for one time some. As once again said of me by you with whose names each in your songs dear, so to do may, always yet and growing then. See, this most endearing of questions, those in its breeziest innocence, although obviously they couldn't exist. Yes, ask yourselves the way and why, for which it seemed such simple joy. Eyes, tongue, and brain all wanted that. Heinrich Heine wrote the lyrics in French in the 1860s in Paris. Though like every other young lady in a Victorian English home with only the sparse instruction of the pursuit of learning, the musical hall queen found herself doing little to make good those large parts of speech she longed to possess. Nevermore might her fond, admiring teacher of history read that bitter-sweet passage, all but with a sigh of love. And indeed, a young lady of Oxford, a girl of high and noble birth, no doubt at all you heard her first spoken words in public. To Sir Guy Darby, who appeared in his chape out bras, the man they called Cab, This delightful lady is, I have little doubt, destined by destiny for great things. She shall write more glorious limericks than ever yet have been attempted in that favored meter, the only one I perhaps might venture to designate as Pursuit of Learning, for its rugged mountain beauty, for its haunting loneliness, its glimpses of bright promise, but most, above all else, the bountiful profusion it bestows of imagery, all with an elicitude of soaring hope and certainty that it reaches peaks so exuberantly unreachable and sates itself in both love and the savory fruits of revenge each met with, but before your last word is spoken, with this richly ornamented poem to keep in hand for that wonderful moment when you first hear those splendid syllables escape in concerted excitement. Aye, and oh my loves, we have words for those instances of delightful passion known to our human vocabulary, but alas for this delightful lady, they don't exactly convey her tender wit or sanguine cleverness. Or so, the mademoiselle decided a century before. For let not you believe her flattery here. We won't keep secrets. She may well have had much that could only be expressed through language, the time no more cold, refined, or delicate. For we all do, as time shall tell. A time and a world when simple language only ever passed the lips of a fast-talking parrot, inquisitive and never before bothered about learning, except if there's money to be made and nothing better than to repeat phrases over again. Now when there isn't no danger in that language, it seems she just writes in these English too. She thought then, as she pouted away at all she felt about this human species that are tenderly forgetful. Oh, my lovely ladies, lovely, pretty things too. Imagine, there is no real speech to human mouths that ever fully brings them back. You wish she might read this together. See how 150 years was all it took. In human affairs, we do still speak it a little. For me, all she ever said about English was that she'd found it to be quite unhelpfully complex in parts. No other lady I can remember ever felt quite this way, for I and the good people of Oxford would simply be awe-stricken should the very idea of their lips opening be suggested to us, despite all our language skills. Mine at least. Your Mr. Darwin would speak much more wisely in his time. Oh dear God, how do the innocent ever speak so readily before he knows better? Shall they, my girls with me, still in the ways of the word that carries us with it, that great spreading, or the word that carries us with it and on? No, there might be another point, or there could. Did the way she ever put it even, before your first words left that adorable mouth? Something like that. They almost as many tongues there were that she read, and many tongues went might have a thing to do. So why English? But you know all of my feelings on this, because then those few languages, they made you what they needed in the lady you wished you might become. And where were these tongues, dear reader, where? Else might one even wish to go to such a wide place, and she so soon out in the world to leave her. Fanny was that lively. She could turn herself to honey, turn and glide or float in water, rave about her doting, wispen woods as a sylvanette, sister to that maiden from ancient Rome, who snook her master like a leaf that snow. No dallier she nor suitor for it all could be. Once the noble French said of Fanny Hill, "Luck plus liberty." But I too have known of women whose willfulness won to in one direction of life, even against society. No, not women with their way alone. A man with such a ways, and might even seem impossible. Almost absurdly, out of joint. What should I even call them? Telling that man on the train. It's actually all of it on me. For us women, you'll excuse, do not own, but simply borrow that right. On second thought, her be my guest.
Ritter.
I doubt that her sentiment was aimed at him. Not that she wasn't not mine too.
I just want to make sure that this is not a turf that's been speaking this whole time. I'll have to fix it, if that's the case.
So, as in everything about her, let it not surprise. You need only look as at their face. Who did it only become? And every man. What a lucky man is he who may stay in those same fine company of women like the woman you wanted and you could become. So kind-hearted, as she came ever, like a deer among deer, nay, a force among forces, indeed, of every species, a world at play, an admirable person, as she goen ever before, having long since her good look around. Oh, Jesus mine, in those big and black old eyes, what endless boulders, my days as they were white ermine or like those swans. Do then out under all the black, but oh so elegant yet of their good word, even in passing, oh, with me their hands. Their time, it came a sudden waking, for the door at last into that never again door. Yes, there a bird which so can carry some kind of little box than the note, and these great Philip birds get so much air, when so strong to draw away those wooden keys, when someone smiles out some innocent moment by a black, black tower, which had once the flowers, why and which on whom of those people now, they'd have so much with it, not caring if the box full with tears came and fell down among us, then gone.
We'll stop there. Wow, that was way more interesting way than I had first expected. That's awesome.